Okay, good morning everyone. We have a very unique sort of a guest lecture today. It's by two not very acclaimed scientists. It's actually meant, it is by two very sort of young but enthusiastic individuals, and their CVs are as follows. The first speaker is Ujjwal Mantha. Date of birth is June 8th, 1999. Okay, for those of us who are sort of in the 70s and 60s, remember it is 1999. Okay, and he goes to the Glendale Academy Institute, and he is in the 9th grade. Actually, he's just starting 9th grade. Okay, so his aspiration is he has lots of aspirations, but the common thread that links all of them is that he doesn't want to become anything, but he wants to become anything but a doctor. Right. The second speaker is Siddharth Sendil. Again, date of birth is February 14th, 2001. Okay, so he is in the 2K era. So the school is Gitanjali Senior School, Begumpet. He's even younger. He's in the 7th grade. You're starting 7th grade, right? He's starting 7th grade. And his aspiration is to become an automobile engineer. And you can see these two fellows out here. That is Ujjwal and that is Siddharth. And this guy turns out to be the byproduct of Dr. Padmaja Rani and Balasubramaniam Mantha, right? So, and he came to my lab to do a summer project, and he's going to talk to us about what he did in the, for about 3 to 4 weeks in the lab. And Siddharth, on the other hand, happens to be the byproduct of these two, Dr. Sirisha Sendil and Dr. Sendil. And this is, I believe, a picture taken on their recent trip to Ladakh. So he has had lots of fun in the summer, as you can imagine, and he did some work with Dr. Prem Nandini, and again for about 3 to 4 weeks, and he is going to tell us about what he did. So you might wonder why these guys they came to the lab. They told me that they are super interested in science. They wanted to study science, and so, but I think the reality is Sirisha and Padmaja wanted to get rid of them in the summer. So they basically sent them to our lab, but we had lots of fun. We had so much fun with these guys. So and that's why we thought we should put this guest lecture together for these guys. And so what's going to happen today is sort of three things. We will have the talk by Ujjwal first, and then we'll have the talk by Siddharth. Each will occupy about 15 minutes. And for the remaining 20-30 minutes, we will have a video talk by Sir Ken Robinson. He is one of the most acclaimed educators that you can find. He is British. And he has really made the TED Talks famous. So he has lots of views on what children's education is about and how that actually kills curiosity, how school education actually kills curiosity. So we'll have a lecture, video lecture by him. It's a TED Talk. So we'll have that and we will open it up for discussions and we'll take it from there. So without further ado, may I invite the young scientist Ujjwal on stage to give his talk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As my brilliant mentor cum co-investigator introduced me, thank you by the way, you can see I don't have a very clear idea of what I want to be in life. But I do know whether blurred can see deep. And I'm going to present a shocking insight into the tough life of depth perception. Now, what is Can Blurred See Deep as a title? It simply means, in simple complex language, effect of blurred vision on depth perception. What is depth perception? Our extraordinary ability to see the world around us in different ways and helps us know where everything is placed. My objective? We all probably know that the loss of one eyeball means the loss of all depth perception. But what I want to know is how depth perception is affected by blurred vision. But let me clarify something on vision with those two's help. You can see Dr. Optics and his robot eyes. They will be helping me in this study. Now let's understand a little about vision. As you can see on the right side, the normal eye, the light rays go through the cornea and converge precisely on the retina, giving a crisp, high definition HD image. Whereas in a blurred eye, the light rays fall on converge either after or before the retina, giving a very blurred, hazy image, like one of those 20-year-old box TVs. What is my hypothesis? It is basically of two types. The null hypothesis, which says that blurred vision has no added effect on depth perception, whereas the alternate hypothesis, blurred vision does affect depth perception. Motivation. I can't say that I have a deep emotional, motivational reason for conducting this. I'm just interested in the study's outcome. But there is a clinical motivation to provide evidence to thousands of doctors on the effects of depth perception. Really noble. But there's always this thing about the subjects which is so important. My inclusion and exclusion criteria. Well, I prefer creatures, preferably humans, of varying different gender and age. No eye problems. Their age group 10 to 50, which is mean 10 to 20, 40 to 50. And there's much more exclusion criteria. Eye problems, we don't want them. We definitely don't want non-cooperative cranky subjects. ADHD people suffering from color blindness, exclusion criteria can go on and on and on. All subjects in my methods will be tested using different levels of blurred vision with the introduction of lenses of different powers, such as the +1 diopter, +2 diopter lens and +3 diopter lens. They will undergo a test which involves a bunch of dots on the screen and a 3D shape hidden in the dots. Example, a stick, and in another test, triangle, square, circle and diamond. In the first test, the stick, which appears like a 3D image, they will be either left or right, and they will be asked to orient it. And this is all done in 3D, but let me show you a small picture. Here is a small visual of the actual test. You can see the red and green dots showing the image. In reality, we won't be able to see them, and only the people with the 3D glasses can see a small image come out. And whenever the answer yes or wrong, we input that. And in the end, they get a number, their stereo acuity. Remember that word, it's very important. Now we have to address safety issues. Let me take it out. Well, say our patient we really value. Any test conducted will be at the patient's consent. The patient can withdraw at any given time, though is appreciated if he doesn't. If the patient is suffering from an eye defect that she is not aware of, he will be informed in the most polite and kind way possible. The patient's safety is our main priority along with the completion of the test. Safeguards. The patient's real name will be ingeniously coded by myself, and all data about the patients will be protected religiously on high security computers. As you can see in that semi-accurate picture, where the patient who sits in the chair will be ingeniously coded by both modern and ancient methods so that his needs are always catered for. The results. Well, you can see that we had 10 subjects, about 4 males and 6 females. The average mean age was 29 years, whereas the range was 13 to 49 years. And here you can see this graph. We collected stereo acuity of all the 6 lenses, and we collected the average of each patient's performance on all those lenses, and we got this table. You can see the standard deviation indicating the highest and lowest points, and you can see here the 3 conclusions that we draw from it. Here on the 0 part of it, where the subject's eyes were not blurred at all, you can see that has the best stereo acuity of the whole table. Whereas on the negative side and the positive side, you can see that on the negative side the stereo acuity is not as bad as it is on the positive side. And then if you want to look at the conclusions again, moving on, this is our final conclusion. The null hypothesis was proven wrong. It is true. Blurred vision affects depth perception. It is no longer a question rhetorical. It is a statement. But I must mention the study's limitations. We had a much too small sample of 10, unequal male to female ratio, and the range of age, we only got one person below 20, me. And we switched from software to software, thoroughly confusing ourselves as the results varied. Probably needs to be repeated next summer. But so far, it was successful so far. It was good fun too. The presentation was made in memory of all eye diseases who are no longer with us at LVP. And we can see that even the doctor and his trusty robot are busy. And I think I have somewhere to be too. Thank you.
So what is amazing about this, all of these slides is all the pictures that he has put up, he has hand drawn all of them and he has scanned it and he has put it into the, this one, yeah. So what I want to specifically point out is about this picture. It's not very easy to show 3D pictures on a two-dimensional scene. We were contemplating for about a whole 2 hours on how to show this. We thought of we should give red-green glasses to everybody and then to see the 3D. Then he said, no, that is all too scientific. I'm going to go draw a pair of random dot stereogram. So, and that's the result of it. So, what Ujjwal has done is he took a plain piece of paper, put a lot of, sketch pen marks on it, yellow sketch pen marks. Then he took a spray paint thing and he has painted over the top and he has added the red and green triangles that is to be seen. So this is one of the stimuli that you actually see during the experiment. And it's an amazing rendition in my mind at least. It's an amazing rendition of what 3D is. Yes, you don't see this in 3D, but the essence is really there to do it. So with that, I'm going to let Ujjwal answer any questions that you guys might have.
Camel sketch pens. Any questions? Who said that? Yes?
Very nice work, Ujjwal.
Thank you.
So when you were that one subject, right, and you had both the plus and the minus,
Where?
in your research, the less than 20 years old. So you have done this experiment on yourself, right?
Yes.
And so were you able to see very clearly with the minus and the plus? Can you tell us how you felt about that?
Well, yes. Actually, I performed very badly on the positive and the negative side. And on the zero diopter, as usual, everyone, I performed quite nice. But the thing was, I didn't do it on myself. Someone there did it on me. And yeah. Repeat your question.
So how did you see it? Was it more clear with the minus or more clear with the plus?
It was much more clear on the minus side. Not exactly clear, but it was much more easier to distinguish. I could see it much more easily. Whereas on the plus slide, I could barely see anyone's face.
Do you know why?
Huh?
Do you know why?
Can you tell me?
Because so you have the lens inside your eye, the human lens. It can accommodate the minus lens, not the plus. So you're more blurred out with the plus than the minus.
It happens to everyone.
Young people. Good job.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed your presentation. It was so refreshing to see something like this in Pretoria.
Any other questions?
Actually, I made a deal with him what question I should ask. This is architect saying, So, shall I ask that question?
It is actually quite relevant too.
Is it? Okay. So the question is why the sky is blue?
Really good match fixing. The sky is blue because the light is the sun rays of the light are scattered when they enter the sky, refracted, and only the blue color stands out there. I think it's accurate enough. Like,
I have one more question.
no, white light is made out of 7 colors, right? So only blue is like refracted in the sky. That's also why we see color on these things. Because of light refraction, not because they have that initial color. Light, only brown stays on this wood. And like we, maybe in future we get the option to change our body color by light refraction, but not.
Oh, is it?
That will definitely be in fashion.
Yeah, all the fair and lovely companies will close after that.
Anything else?
Any questions from the other campuses?
Suresh Nath, your daughter will be next summer, so you can ask a question now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think very refreshing to listen to this, and what's more important is, it's quite interesting to see how what we take as something that is well established can always be questioned, and that's interesting. Thanks, Ujjwal.
Thank you.
Can we invite Siddharth on stage now to give his presentation?
Thanks.